Well, the skies have cleared up as it is, I don't know if it's still day one or day two, but we are back underway with our day one schedule. Lincoln Rose along with Sydney Gearbracht. As when we last joined you, it was in the middle of the sixth inning of a 2-2 ball game. As let's take a look quickly back at yesterday as Trine was able to strike first. The leadoff single from Scarlett Elliott in the top half of the second gave them a 1-0 advantage. They find another run from Emma Byer later in the fifth. The sandwich in between, Eastern Connecticut able to strike for a couple of runs. As we are underway in the bottom half of the sixth inning. And again, this will be the only game played today. These, however many innings, are required to determine a winner and a team to head to the elimination bracket. Tomorrow is when the day two schedule will resume, with all 8 teams underway, including our first elimination games of the week. As San Giovanni sends one skyward, that one does not bring rain, as it is squeezed into the glove of the pitcher for Trine and Adrian Rossi. It is something you appreciate about softball. You can pick back up with the same pitchers more often than not.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to say that Rossi gave an impressive performance last night. You have to really admire the competitor that you have there on in the circle for Trine right now. Feeling a little bit of redemption actually on her behalf because she had some tough innings last night. It felt like the rain would start anytime that she was back out in the circle. And ultimately, Eastern got a bit of their momentum cut, even though they're coming off of that double play from last night.
This is your starting pitcher for Eastern, and Alexis Michon fouled back out of play. As 0 for 2 so far for Alexis, facing Adrian Rossi in the circle. In Eastern Connecticut State out of the Little East Conference. Swept Randolph-Macon, a member of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, a conference that every year helps host this event when it's here in Salem. The Mountains are back. As beautiful backdrop once again, as always, here at Moyer Sports Complex. And a fantastic job, as always, by the grounds crew here. Quickly tarping that field last night in record time, making sure that we have a championship surface to play on for these 2+ innings today. In bottom of the sixth of a 2-2 ball game, as Michon will send that one back towards her dugout.
And like you shared, Lincoln, Michon having gone 0 for 2 so far in this game, due for her third time up. 330 on the season.
Not chasing outside, no favors there for her counterpart. And Adrian Rossi, your pitcher of the year in the MIA. They lost one of their starting pitchers, Keppel, with a preseason injury. She's been one of 3 pitchers to help step up. That one again will be out of play.
And in case y'all missed the action last night, what we're really going to see from Rossi is going to be working a curveball, has a potential for a great off-speed curve. Going to be working her horizontal pitches nicely, but that swing and miss pitch that she's going to be leaning into again and again, no matter the count, is going to be her rise ball. We expect that in the next couple innings here.
Only runs for the Warriors came in the bottom of the third. Michon will shoot this one out towards center. It'll be a tough get and just unable to make a tremendous diving catch. Ellie Trine gave it her all. Instead, it'll be a double for Michon.
Looked like Trine had it in her glove. May have been a bit of a collision with the glove on the ground that made the ball pop out. Let's take a look.
And Ellie Trine, your center fielder, lays out for this one. And you're right, just could not secure it fully in the glove as she came back down to earth.
Actually looked like Trine dove a little bit too early. Needed to take just one extra step so that she could catch the ball at a bit of a better angle.
Of course, the infield is tarp, most of the outfield still damp. Some of the athletes chose to go out there when they got to the park here today to see what the footing would be like. So double for Michon as Stoker at the plate. She had an RBI back in the third inning. Back when Eastern Connecticut State scored both of their runs. Again, The Warriors are no strangers to playing here in the championship week. We most recently saw them 2 championships ago down in Texas, as was the case with Trine. This one will get out of play again. Eastern Connecticut State, a 5-time national champion. Trine making their 4th appearance in the championship week. 2 great programs, and of course both are led by head coaches in excess of 500 career victories at their programs. 0-2 to Stoker, and there. We're out number 2.
That actually might have been one of the best pitches that Stoker got in her at bat. Outside corner, maybe just a half a ball length off the plate, but that's the one you want to take a hack at, especially with a runner in scoring position. Even a sac fly moves your runner over that extra 60 feet.
So again, your runner on second is Alexis Michon after her double into center. Here's Vilches, 0 for 2 today.
I know we were commenting on it last night, Lincoln, about how many pitchers that this Eastern team has used all season long are in their lineup every day. Vilches, Michon, and Stoker.
Out to left, Gill squeezes it in as ultimately the Warriors will get a runner in scoring position, but Michon left stranded on second. 6 innings complete. We move on. Morgan Bolduc yesterday came in relief as she will resume her role in the circle. Again, she is one of 3 different pitchers of the year in their conference in the Little East that Eastern Connecticut State still has active on their roster. By the way, also an All-American these days, the senior, who is 12-2 on the year. We mentioned entered this NCAA postseason #1 in the nation of a .47 ERA. That is up to .74 coming into this week. A 2-2 ball game, top of the 7th. Of course, the game just prior to this, use that phrase loosely, was an extra inning affair that went 9. As the Seagulls of Salisbury entered the bottom of the 9th in the prior game, trailing by a run against Milliken, who thought surely they'd be moving on to the winner's bracket, the Big Blue. But the Seagulls had some magic in them. 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th, punched their ticket into the winner's bracket. The Seagulls of Salisbury will await the winner of this one. That'll be yet another clash of some teams that we see on a regular basis here in the championship. And sitting on that off-speed offering, this one shot up over the shortstop, and Rubeck has it.
And I'll tell you, Lincoln, I do not envy whoever gets the Big Blue. Dropping that one last night in 9 innings. A tough break for Milliken, but a really great example of how it's not over till it's over, and being able to execute the details all the way through until the end can often result in a win.
Every game we've seen so far has had its own journey. And I would argue every team we've seen so far throughout their course of their game has believed they had a chance. Perhaps the most surprising outcome was the prolific offense of the Bulldogs, of your former national champion and last year's runner-up, Texas Lutheran, TLU. Only able to plate 1 run, and as a result will face elimination tomorrow. They will face WPI, who came up short against CNU. CNU just 1 loss on the whole year. Giselle Riley, your DP, a couple of strikeouts today. Again, yesterday.
And to your point, Lincoln, the Texas Lutheran squad looked a bit stunned by how hot Barry's bats came out in that first matchup. And there's a chance they could get stunned by WPI. We saw them be incredibly scrappy. Hopefully WPI will be healthy throughout the rest of this tournament. But it'll be important for TLU and the Bulldog squad to get the bats going early and often.
Top of the 7th, 1 out. And Trine is in a similar situation as Milliken was yesterday. Even if you score once here this inning, you're going to do everything you can to try to find some insurance to help you out because you're not going to have the ability to answer anything the Warriors put up in the home half, as they may have a chance to walk it off. Bolduc in the circle. A payoff pitch with one away. And apparently right at the letters for a strikeout from Morgan Bolduc, out number 2.
And this late in the season, Lincoln, especially in championship play, I'm surprised to see how many swingless strikeouts we're getting. A lot of these players getting caught looking, taking pitches that, from where I sit, are just a little bit too close for comfort.
Yeah.
I'd be taking those hacks. I wouldn't want any of those swings taken away from me, especially on this stage.
It puts the burden on Anna Gill. First pitch she sees, San Giovanni sends it over, and we are still playing softball on the top of the 7th inning. Anna Gill able to beat out the throw. Let's see if the bottom of the 3rd inning can come through.
And a beautiful bunt laid down by Gill, and a great 2-out effort, doing what she can to get some momentum going for this Trine offense, even with 2 outs on the board.
Not much more Julia San Giovanni could have done there at 3rd. The infield single for Gill. Here's Ainsley Phillips. She had the RBI back in the 5th inning. That tied this game and has kept Trine in this contest. That scored Emma Beyer, who had led off the inning with a walk. So a pop-out strikeout, the single from Gill. Phillips at the plate with 2 outs and a 1-1 count to her name. Trine coming off a super regional sweep against Case Western Reserve. Every super regional this year was a 2-0 sweep, with the exception of one, as 7 of the 8 teams here this week won their first game on Friday last weekend. Quickly turned around, won on Saturday. Made for a slightly less stressful weekend and allowed the excitement to build early to returning to Salem. This one a blooper out towards left coming in. It's going to hang up there for Stoker to make the catch. Both teams stranded a base runner in their most recent half inning. The difference is now the Warriors can pick up their bats in the home half of the 7th and try to slightly different skies than what we saw last night. We were under the lights and at the mercy of those clouds today. A little friendlier start here as we resumed action in the bottom of the 6th. Quickly now to the bottom of the 7th as the Warriors, they just need to manufacture a run. I know easier said than done. Here's the 8-hitter Carolyn Beal, 0 for 2 in this contest against starter Adrian Rossi. Beal, a junior out of Connecticut from Wallingford, hitting .287 coming into this week. And just off the mark on that one. So it's the 8 and 9 hitters due up. Laura Zink on deck. She scored the first of the 2 runs for the Warriors in this ball game. Then top the order with Cassie Woods due up.
In bottom of the 7th here, still tied. Ultimately, Trine's game to lose because they weren't able to put up any runs in their one opportunity. And we've played a lot of ball game, not necessarily today, but yesterday. Bolduc doing a great job shutting down that Trine offense. 1-2 punch with Michon.
Able to lay off it. The appeal down confirms no swing. So as beautiful as it looks right now, early this afternoon is when you start to see the percentage increase for thunderstorms. So rather than the committee having everybody come out here ready to play ball and ultimately linger while watching rain come down, made the decisive commitment to shift things to tomorrow. In years past, so often we've spent countless hours just hoping to play softball. Everybody was here dressed up, and ultimately you had to push anyways. And Got the hit batter, Beal. That's your game-winning run potentially on the base paths, so you're going to pinch run for her with Maggie Baker the first year out of Hudson, Massachusetts. Her 45th game on the year, primarily pinch runner.
Well, and to that point, Lincoln, you have to tip your hat to the I would say management team here from NCAA, who have had to make some difficult decisions and prioritize the experience not only number one of the student athletes, because this is their experience, this is their championship they've worked so hard for, but also all of the humans that make this happen.
Coach Pepin making her pinch runner official. And she's also going to pinch hit here as the DP, Laura Zink, who singled and scored back in the third, her highlight, will step aside, and it's Morgan Bolduc, who's already entered this ball game as our pitcher for the Warriors. Now she's a .214 hitter on the year with a home run and 6 RBI. Let's see what they have in mind, and sure enough, going to square around. And was dangerously close to popping that one out into the glove of Elliott, who came in charging. Yeah, I don't think that surprised anybody that Bolduc was brought in to put the bunt down to try to advance the runner into scoring position. That runner being Baker. Now, if you get too aggressive, you can pop one over the third baseman's head. Only play is at first, and they'll throw it away. Warriors are going to have the game-winning run 60 feet away. That is why you execute the bunt. You put the routine pressure on the defense to make the routine play. And it is easier said than done. Morgan Bolduc comes in, puts down a bunt ready to give herself up. Instead, she gets to run the bases. So barring a home run, she's not going to have a chance to score this inning.
Well, you said it, Lincoln. It's so important, especially to be executing the fundamentals, especially pitch after pitch. Bolduc does a great job, does her job for her team. It happens to work out, and Trine ultimately has to make that routine play, and that's one of those free passes we've talked about is so important to eliminate, especially on this stage, because these teams, every single one of them will capitalize on a free pass, that extra 60 feet.
So here's the top of your order for the Warriors. That includes Cassie Woods, who had a great sack bunt back in the third inning that led to a run. On the day, she's officially 0 for 2. But she comes up. Still all 3 outs to work with. Out towards left. Will they test the arm of Gill? They will not, and that appears to be the right decision. So 1 out. Runners don't advance, but you're still 1 wild pitch, 1 pass ball away. Diana Pepin, your head coach, whispers into the ear of Baker what she's looking for. As Woods retired, just could not send that one deep enough to left. So here's Alexis Tyrell. 2 for 3 today, a couple of singles, an RBI, a run scored, and Trine's going to talk this over and take all the time you want. A huge moment here. This is all after Morgan Bolduc put down the bunt, reached on the throwing error that gave everybody an extra 60 feet as well. "60 feet away from ending this ball game, the pinch runner, Maggie Baker."
We haven't seen the offensive production from Brooks in the way that I think this team is used to seeing from her. But, you know, Tyrell has come in, done a great job in that 1-2 punch in the 1-2 spot to pick up her teammate.
And Tyrell's already had herself a great game, looking for a little more right here. And trying to bring the run home with that bunt. Tyrell, in her third year as your starting right fielder, has only made 2 errors defensively out there. And now trying to come through with her bat once more. By the way, she's also the starting goalkeeper for the soccer team. Slightly smaller gloves today. The 1-1 from Rosie. Here's what Bolduc's able to provide you over there at second, even though her run would be, quote, meaningless. She's able to take a look into that catcher's glove and tell her teammate where she's setting up.
I'll tell you, I always found that distracting as a hitter. I just would rather trust myself that I can see something. I mean, unless they're telling me that it's a changeup and I can sit on it, that's something that you might get from a coach or from your dugout. And some players love that.
So you've got a pitcher's vantage point from second base. Again, right now it's just about bringing a teammate 60 feet home. Baker on third. That would be the walk-off winner. Desperate to get a bunt down. And they might still try it, even with 2 strikes. We'll see. It's a 3-2 count. Again, if you're a corner infielder, there's only so much you can pinch in, because if that ball gets looped over your head, that's the ball game. And it's a walk. Bases loaded. 1 out. There is at least now a force at home. Brooke Matisowski comes up. Carolyn Beal got this inning started. The base hit, Baker has been running for her ever since, standing on third, followed by Bolduck, who reached on the air, and the walk to load the bases with Alexis Tyrell.
It looks like Eastern has generated some of that momentum that they lost last night after that double play that ended the inning. Then the rain came down, able to still capitalize on whatever that was and generate some momentum today. Say early in the day, but late in the game.
Count even 1-1. Obviously, Brooke Matisowski could be your game-winning RBI producer without ever putting a bat on a ball if she earns a walk here. As Rosie must throw strikes after walking Tyrell a moment ago. Tied ball game, bottom of the 7th. This might be deep enough. Ellie Trine comes in to make the catch. They will make her throw a strike home, and what a throw from Trine. We are still tied, 2 runs apiece. And, well, again, reminder, we do have replay available. If Diana Pepin truly disagrees with the call, Baker is out at home.
So from that angle, it looks like there may be a chance that Coach Pepin got to see. But from this angle,
they can look at 2 things. They can look at obstruction, and they can look at simply the good old-fashioned of who got there first. Now, if this was being reviewed, the team would be staying out there right now. Right now, the teams have retreated back to their dugouts, trying optimistic that it will be upheld.
I respect what Trine's trying to do, acting as if they got the out, as if they got out of the inning.
Again, they're new to this. This is the first time all year that Division III student athletes have gone through replay. Ellie Trine did everything she could be asked to do. Fires a strike home. In theory, there's your tag with the hand shy of home plate.
Yep.
So the only question, it appears obstruction would be an unlikely call, has a path to the plate. And the folks in Pittsburgh also should probably be able to piece those 2 together. And as long as that tag was actually applied, that appears to be the right call at home, but we will wait and see.
Tough couple of angles with the dirt.
So remember,
getting involved.
That was the 3rd out. 2nd out was made in center field. That would be your 3rd out at home. And even Eastern Connecticut has already gone out there. And we will find out. We have reason to believe it'll be upheld. And what a fantastic job by Ellie Trine in a big situation. Fires one home to the glove of Phillips.
I mean, Trine has to throw an absolute laser on a line and make sure it is at the right angle for her catcher. Well done, Ellie Trine.
All right, let's step aside. Extra innings coming your way for a...
Number 10, Carolyn Beal, back behind home plate for Eastern Connecticut State as she re-enters the contest.
Well, if you didn't believe that Trine was going to have a chance to come back to the plate in the top of the 8th, we would understand. But the rally visors are on. Ellie Trine in center field makes the catch, fires the ball at home. Now, at the moment, our 3 umpires coming together to discuss something. That was, I believe, a coach-initiated review, but let's see if they're telling Diana Pepin otherwise. That's the only thing I could think of whether or not she has, how many challenges she has remaining. Again, after the 6th inning, umpires can initiate the review process. You would understand if they wanted to there, just make sure they got a big moment correct. That could have ended the ball game. And understand this postseason is not just new to the players, this is new to the umpires. Now, to their benefit, they are not the ones reviewing the play. They're putting on the headset, and folks who have been reviewing plays all season long and all postseason at the Division I level over in Pennsylvania are simply relaying to them what the call will be. I think if you're the umpire, you appreciate having that burden taken off your shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it relieves the pressure a little bit to have to get every single call right. Obviously, these are some of the best umpires in the country, so we tip their hat to all of the work that they do to even get to this point. And, you know, there's some fallibility in the elements that we can't control, and sometimes that includes our human umpires.
So Morgan Baldock, a few moments ago, was in scoring position. Now she's back in the circle, just trying to keep the status quo. In the last run of this ball game was scored top of the 5th. Trine was able to tie it at 2-2. And a tight contest between 2 programs who enjoyed plenty of success over the years. In Eastern Connecticut State out of Mansfield, Connecticut, Trine from Angola, Indiana. The 0-2 coming up from Baldock. As Ellie Trine at the plate. And Ellie Trine doing everything she can to stay in the winner's bracket here. Boy, a fantastic arm and a great hit to lead things off here in the 8th inning. It's the 4th time a leadoff hitter today has reached for Trine.
And as described by her coaches, Ellie Trine's that player that makes us go. She's gotten hot in conference and been hot ever since.
And Trine, your player of the year in their conference. Here's Taylor Murdoch, 0 for 3 so far in this ball game with a couple strikeouts. Squares around a bunt.
Good choice. Good choice.
Murdoch, first team all-conference, hitting .336 with 6 home runs coming into this week. And a senior now, she was on that 2019 team that last made it to this stage. That year, she was your most outstanding player in the Super Regional to punch their ticket to Tyler, Texas. Ahead in the count here, 1-0 against Baldock. 1-1.
You're seeing some teams lean into the fundamentals in these last couple moments. Or actually, I would say on the ends, like the bookends of most games that we've seen so far, I would say the last 3 that we've seen some really good fundamental small ball being played. Not necessarily in the middle innings, though. Really, coaches giving their teams their full at-bats.
I don't know the numbers on it, but it seems like if you don't get the bunt down on your very first attempt, your percentage of success drastically plummets. After that, we've seen the teams that have come through with the successful sack bunts able to get it down on their first try. Right now, 2-1 count to Taylor Murdoch. She'll swing away, punches this one. This will carry back to the wall, and it is gone. A 2-run shot in extra innings from Taylor Murdoch. Ellie Trine will give the Thunder the lead, and Murdoch insurance for the first time today. Oh, that ball just continued to carry. And it's the Thunder with the Thunder's blast here in extra innings.
Well, and what a great piece of hitting there from Murdoch. After not being able to get the bunt down, able to find a way to reproduce and manufacturing a couple runs for her team in a big way. So not just one solo shot, which we talked yesterday about how an isolated event like a solo shot is not necessarily something to worry about. And Murdoch coming up big with a runner on base. Ellie Trine able to generate that momentum, and Murdoch able to keep it going.
Taylor Murdoch, congratulations on not getting the bunt down on your first try.
That's the best case scenario.
Nobody out, a 2-run shot for Trine, who probably had doubt whether they'd even be batting this inning. Here's Amanda Prather. With that said, we saw another team in extra innings in the previous game take a lead, only to never get to bat again as the opponents would walk it off in the home half. Warriors will have a chance. Trine will be as aggressive as possible now to continue to add more here to what is already their most successful offensive inning.
Well, and Trine getting a great opportunity to have the meat of their lineup, some of the fire starters on this squad, a fourth at bat, a fourth look at some of Eastern pitching. Prather, big RBI manufacturer.
She'll go opposite field, this time coming in to make the catch is Tyrell. As there's your first out, Taylor Murdoch, her 7th home run, the biggest of her career, has put Trine up in extra innings. Now Ashley Swartout, your cleanup hitter. 0 for 2 today with a walk. 0 for 2 in the past 24 hours. And Bolduc just back to business. Focused on what she can control, and that's the batter in front of her.
Well, and for those of you just joining us, if you didn't get a chance to see Bolduc throw last night, you're going to see curve inside outside corner, going to work a nice drop ball in there, and then has a beautiful off-speed curve.
Rubeck with a nice snag, throw from a knee, and it was just too much to ask. 3rd base runner of the inning for Trine. 2 have already come home. Ashley Swartout with the infield single.
Not necessarily a routine play, I would argue, but this is part of the reason why you really want to put the ball on the ground, do what you can to have, especially in these moments, have that bat angle that's just slightly angled downward. Best case scenario, you slice the ball in half, get a little bit of backspin on it, turning your singles into doubles, doubles into home runs. But if you're able to put it on the ground, you force the defense to have to make a play.
Diana Pepin's going to talk to her battery, mindful that this next hitter has already conquered the confines here in Salem. Scarlett Elliott with the first run scored in this ball game back in the 2nd, had a leadoff home run. That would give Trine a short-lived lead. As in the 3rd inning, Eastern Connecticut State would score a pair. And there will be a change here. 3rd pitcher for Eastern Connecticut State will introduce you to the new arm in the circle when you rejoin us. Top of the 8th inning with 1 out as Trine with a 2-run lead. Starting pitcher Alexis Michon re-enters the ball game for Morgan Bolduc here in the 8th inning. Trine has already hit a 2-run home run. Taylor Murdoch, her 7th of the year to score. Ellie Trine along the way. After an out recorded, Swartout with a single, so a runner on. Trine is looking for more. Scarlett Elliott already with a home run blast today. And that was off Alexis Michon. So that's a rare dynamic right there. You bring a pitcher back in to face a challenging hitter who has already hit a home run off that pitcher.
Well, and I think that goes to show the tremendous trust that Pepin has and Michon has in her pitching staff.
You figure just lightning won't strike twice, or in this case, thunder.
Well, it's a new day, and there's an opportunity that most teams don't get. We're playing the same game 2 different days. Might be getting a different hitter in Elliott and a different pitcher in Michon.
So officially, this is Alexis's 90th pitch of this ball game. Although you figure her arm is a little bit more capable of going past 100. As she has worked 4 2/3 innings in this ball game, 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, and 2 walks. They're just trying to get out of this inning with no more runs coming home. Michon looking for the final 2 outs. The 3-1 to Elliott, and it's ball 4. This is after Eastern Connecticut State had runners on third and second with one out. Last half inning with a chance to walk off the ball game.
Second base.
They'll have a chance to walk it off again here in the eighth, but it's going to be a taller task.
Well, and Trine doing a good job this inning of manufacturing runs early. And again, the burden of these outs really falling on Eastern. Trine just doing a good job right here, continuing to keep their foot on the gas offensively. Of course, the Warriors get their back up against the wall.
Here is your most outstanding player in last weekend's Super Regional against Case Western Reserve, Emma Byer, in the 6th spot in this lineup. She has walked and scored in this game, 0 for 2 officially, with a couple of strikeouts.
We're really going to see Michonne rely on her screwball. As long as she makes sure she's moving that through the slot that she's creating with the lower half of her body. We've seen her have some challenges hitting her spots last night. And lower half was getting in the way.
Michonne, the sophomore, her first year at Eastern Connecticut State. We will confirm this before the next time we see Eastern Connecticut State, but I believe those are her teammates' initials on her face. Morgan Bolduck, MB. And I believe we've seen a few other initials on faces. So it's either a pitching staff thing or maybe it's for the seniors. But again, we'll do some journalism.
Some investigative journalism here.
Payoff pitch coming up to Byer after a walk a moment ago to Elliott. And a strikeout. That's the 9th of the game for Michonne.
Big strikeout there for Michonne. Good composure. And again, working that screwball. Nicely done.
We're going to have a pinch hitter at the DP spot for Trine as Donnie Dankelson goes to his bench. He'll bring up Merced Doherty, the 5th-year senior, 291 hitter this year. She was last year's Player of the Year in the conference. Stats have been down a bit this season. Comes in at a huge moment as they have a couple more insurance runs potentially on the base paths with 2 away. Mercedes Doherty puts this one down. That's a tough ball. Michonne gets to it and cannot shovel past it to first in time. Bases are loaded for the Thunder. Again, you put a ball down, you force the defense to make the, quote, routine play, and it's not always so routine.
And I would say that's actually a bit of a communication miscue, right? Michonne, one of the super athletes on this Eastern team, and probably could have grabbed that ball and tossed it over to her first baseman, but thought her first baseman may have been charging. Not exactly sure what happened there. And if I'm Michonne, I'm going to see if I can get that out myself.
Anticipate it'll be a base hit.
And again, well, you have to force your defense to make a play. You still got to play one pitch at a time, so some short-term memory, hopefully, for the Eastern defense. 1 out left to get out of this inning.
The Mercedes Doherty does get credit for the infield single. They will run for her as they bring back, they re-enter Giselle Riley now. Base is loaded. Runner on third, Swart out. Elliott on second. Looking for more. They've already scored 2 on the home run from Taylor Murdoch that brought home Ellie Trine. Here's your 8th batter to come up here in the 8th inning. Anna Gill. Remember, it's almost Gill who's going to be forced into making a throw home when she made that catch in left field last half inning. They did not test her arm. It'd be her teammate in center, Trine, who would be tested and would pass with flying colors. 1-1. Gill 1 for 3 today, singled last inning. Runner on third, Ashley Swartout had the 1-out single, followed by the walk to Elliott. More recently, the infield single from Doherty has Riley running on first. The foul ball now has Alexis Michon 1 strike away potentially from getting out of this inning. At the moment, Eastern Connecticut State will need at least 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th. Trine trying to up that discrepancy on the scoreboard. Bases loaded, 2 outs in the top of the 8th. And not doing the pitcher any favors. Gill keeps that bat on her back shoulder, 2-2.
And the challenge that I'm seeing here with Michon is that she's actually throwing a lot of pitches in these first couple batters that she's faced. So every pitch she throws, she's trying a better look at what she's got to offer.
A big 10th strikeout on the day for Alexis Michon, who re-enters this inning after a 2-run blast from Taylor Murdoch. Gives the Thunder a lead. It's Trine now, who's 3 outs away from advancing to the winner's bracket, but the Warriors with a chance to answer in the home half. Bottom half of the 8th inning here at scenic Salem. Commonwealth of Virginia, great to have you with us here on NCAA.com. By the way, Adrienne Rossi, 116 pitches, 7 strikeouts. She has gone farther than any starting pitcher on this opening round here in Salem. And she's looking to go the distance in today's start, giving up 2 earned runs as we head into the bottom of the 8th. Just quietly going to work.
And again, a bit of a redemption moment here for Rossi, who has, like you shared, pitched outstanding throughout this 8-inning game thus far, and just could not catch a break last night with some of the elements that she was having to battle.
Now, Julia Sangiovanni's been seeing Rossi pretty well. She has walked twice against the starter for a pop-out in the 6th inning. And this should be a foul out. It is, and the glove is sword out. And just like that, Eastern Connecticut State's comeback is down to 2 outs remaining.
The pitcher, number 25, Alexis.
A lot of different players for Trine are going to have played a big part in this one if they can hang on. Great pitching effort. Several tremendous defensive performances. And of course, a couple players with some pop in their bat. Here's Alexis Michon. 1 pitch for your starting pitcher. That's a couple balls that have gone to Swartout. 2 outs.
Left fielder, number 9, Carly.
We're really seeing a great competitor here in Rossi, seeing why she's got some of the accolades she's collected over the course of the season.
Carly Stoker 1 for 3 with an RBI, a couple strikeouts this ball game. This one sky high to Ellie Trine. She'll squeeze it in, and the Thunder have won this in extra innings. Trine will advance to the winner's bracket to collide with a familiar foe in the Seagulls of Salisbury. While Eastern Connecticut State, they were on the verge in the bottom of the 7th of walking it off. Instead, they will face elimination tomorrow against Milliken.
Yeah, great performance here from both teams. Extra innings, tough to do. Having a split day, split game over the course of a couple days. And ultimately, Rossi able to come out on top. We'd love to see that for the pitcher who, again, had to battle the elements last night. And her team, truly a team effort in this win for Trine. Looking forward to see what they do in the winner's bracket.
So we resumed this game in the bottom of the 6th. It continues until the final here in the bottom of the 8th, and that's the entirety of your softball here today in Salem, Virginia. We invite you to follow all the social media channels for NCAA Division III, as well as your favorite program, as that'll help you keep in touch as to what the official schedule will be for tomorrow. It's all, I apologize for the lack of better vocabulary, but it is all fluid, as ultimately 4 teams moving on to the winner's bracket tomorrow. 4 teams will face elimination. By the end of tomorrow, we will trim this field from 8 to 6. And by the end of the 6-day stretch in Salem, we will be crowning a national champion. Donnie Dankelson and his Thunder moving on with a big comeback extra inning victory to wrap up our opening round coverage for Sydney Gearbracht and our entire NCAA.com crew. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Lincoln Rose. One round complete. Still a handful more to go before we crown a champion here in Division III.
Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, times for the next round of games.